Okay, back. Video 9. I don't know if any of you are still watching. So I went and got my clamp kit. And I need a couple tools over here. So this is another area where it's kind of, there's some specialty tools for it. But honestly, they're the same tools that that plumbers use for PEX piping. So you can pretty much get these most places. These are the professional ones for beer systems. And these are nice. This is for cutting them off when you need to. And like I said, these are the professional ones, but I mean, you can get this stuff for PEX. They use the same type of clamp. I don't ever recommend using worm clamps. Those are the little clamps that have the screw on the side, because they don't give like a full 360 tension. During like this section right here gets good clamping force, but right here where that screw is, doesn't. So especially on draft systems, I don't recommend using them. What we use is called a stepless clamp. And there's a couple different varieties. Let's see if we can get a good picture. See? That is a stepless clamp, and if you look inside, you'll see it's got a little bit that curves around, and that helps give a full 360 degree clamping force. So you take your pliers here, and the end goes on those little ears, squishes it down, and it squishes that down. All right, cool. Yeah. Now, the downside to using stepless clamps versus worm clamps. A worm clamp, you had a huge worm clamp just like that, you can get it down small enough to go onto there. Not well, but it would do it. Or a stepless clamp, you have to use the right size to go onto the part. So I'm going to cut off this little zip tie that's on there. You've got your CO2 line, red line, CO2 line, also known as your gas line. This is not, never run compressed air. Oxygen, compressed air, bad for beer. Always CO2. Now, you could also use a CO2 nitrogen blend if you're running a long draw system, but that's a different thing altogether. So for the short draw system, only CO2. So your clamp goes on, and you want a little bit of room on there because you're going to stretch this out onto the barb of your tailpiece. So this is 3/8 line, and we're using a 17 clamp. So it goes on, and that takes a little bit of practice. I made that look a lot easier than it actually is. It takes a little bit of practice to get it where it will go on and kind of squish down. I like to do a rolling action there, and that as I'm pushing in, and that kind of helps it just kind of step itself down. Then we take your clamp, and where it's bulged out is the end of your tailpiece, so you want it down in there. You want it down directly onto the sharp parts of the barb. And you take your clamp, your pliers, put it on there, squish it down. Now it's clamped. So this one is good. Now the other thing we do, we'll take it and we'll run some either zip ties or some tape along this to hold the two together. because otherwise you have things like this. Now, I've got 11 more of these to do. As you can see, it doesn't take that long. You may also go through with your beer nut wrench and make sure that the gas side is tight. So, yeah, I don't know. You guys want me to finish this one board? I guess I can. Before I go through and tape all these together. It's important while you're doing this, especially if you're not going through and taping them down one at a time. You can get your hoses looped into each other, and the only way to fix that is to remove a tailpiece, separate them, and then re-tighten it down. Basically, this board is almost ready for install. So as you can see, I'm doing a fair amount to it before I'm even on location. Now, I'm going to go through and tape these up. I'm going to take it in, I'm going to set it aside, and when I go in to install, I literally just pick up the board, carry it up there, put it on the wall, screw it in. The bottom side of the draft system is already put together, so it'll be ready for beer. I don't have to do anything else to it. I'll make this installation super fast. On this section anyway. I still have to put up the front board, the tap tower, and then I go through and measure the distances and cut the main lines, put them in, and that'll be pretty much it. Like I said, quick, already done. This board is ready. So, if you have any questions, put them down below. I don't know if you guys want to watch me do the other two. I don't know. Alright, cheers guys.